The MMA world is reeling following Sean Strickland's shocking win over Israel Adesanya at UFC 293.
Champion of the world, Sean Strickland.
After all, much of the talk leading up to the card was how Izzy was poised to replace Anderson Silva as the middleweight GOAT.
Face! Anderson Silva!
So now that Strickland's holding the belt, a dude who not long ago made headlines for saying women belong in the kitchen, are Dana White and the UFC brass hitting the panic button? Well, before we get into all that, if you enjoy watching this video, be sure to like it and to subscribe to our channel. And once you're done viewing it, please add your take on the situation in the comment section below. Anyone that has watched Strickland fight over the years knows that he's ridiculously tough and that his boxing in particular is at a very high level, not only on account of his sharp jab and combos, but because of his footwork and defense. But due to the fact Adesanya is widely regarded as one of the best strikers in the solar system, not too many people were predicting Strickland would take the belt at UFC 293. So much so, some odds makers had the last stylebender as a 6-1 favorite to win the scrap. Another reason this fight was widely viewed as just a slight hurdle in Adesanya's path to becoming the greatest middleweight ever was because Izzy was coming off his greatest victory. In April, Adesanya dropped jaws throughout the galaxy by bombing out Alex Pereira to avenge his previous losses to Poatan. So the consensus was that Adesanya would cruise through Strickland and then right into a massive fight with rival Dricus du Plessis. If Adesanya won that fight, then the UFC would have almost certainly started looking at other super fight options, and Izzy moving up to light heavyweight again. Well, any plans to firmly establish Adesanya as the face of the UFC have hit the skids, thanks to Strickland. A fighter who, as noted off the top, isn't exactly a stranger to controversy. In recent years, Strickland has made more than a few comments that have raised eyebrows and drawn the ire of some folks. Case in point, earlier this summer, the following comments from Strickland quickly fired around the internet. Somebody that's going to put women back in the kitchen, but one man working, raise the wages, and build a fucking wall. Now sure, there's no denying that the brash and outspoken fighter has built a sizable fan base. In fact, during fight week for UFC 293, Strickland seemed to get a much bigger pop from the fans than Izzy. But is White and the UFC's corporate partners really comfortable having a champ who, at the drop of a pin, might make statements that prompts a boycott and ad dollars to wash away? White has been pretty reserved when asked to comment on Strickland's persona. But he also said after UFC 293 that he thinks an immediate rematch between Strickland and Adesanya is the way to go. Those comments did seem to turn plenty of heads, given that the fight wasn't really close and Izzy was already given an immediate rematch when Poatan KO'd him last November. So, is White calling for an immediate rematch because he wants to get the UFC's plans for Adesanya back on track? A fighter who is a walking highlight reel and has already demonstrated he's a very marketable and reliable business partner? It's certainly possible. Of course, White will never admit this. And since Strickland appears to be a company man, someone who will fight anyone, anywhere, and likely without complaining about money, don't expect the UFC president to criticize the new champ unless Strickland and his mouth gets him into even bigger trouble than before. But what do you think? Is White and the UFC brass losing their minds behind the scenes now that Strickland is at the top of the middleweight division? Let us know in the comments below. And again, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it and to subscribe to the channel.